commodity on first pick, because it doesn't mean that she has to be a support. You can always transition and change things up throughout the draft and throw your opponent off. And the way that the hero can itemize can be very different. Like you said, the Sonico core build up, you can always just grab a reliable Lotus Orb, Greaves. You can change it as you go. And having a hero that flexible who can offer so much to the game, to the team, is very, very valuable.
Yeah, I mean, so going forward, just overall her utility, of course, comes up now and then again. Do you think we can count on continuing to see Naga in not necessarily the very first priority, but in the higher priorities in terms of the drafting for most teams?
Definitely against the Western teams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We might not see it in this match,
right?
But on the Western teams, it could throw a lot of these other teams off. Yeah.
Okay. Winter, why do you think that is, that we're seeing that regional difference between the Western teams and then the Eastern teams? I mean, why is Naga not as popular with the Eastern teams? Because the utility just on paper sounds great, right? Anyone would like extra time to figure out when you want to fight the best.
I think it's mainly because it's not as easy to utilize the hero to his fullest potential. I feel he's one of the kind of heroes where he's strong, but only at the right hands. And he's particularly strong with, like what Ben said, when Secret pick it or when EG pick it. And the rest of the teams, I mean, when they pick the hero, it's a different effect. It's not the same as when these two teams utilizes the hero. So I feel the main thing is like the two teams have been more experienced at utilizing Naga as a support initiating style, like the utility style. Maybe the Chinese teams are more experienced at using it as a carry position, so they don't really understand as much as how to utilize it to its fullest potential as a support position. That's why they don't prioritize him so much. I mean, her so much as a hero. That might be one of the reasons, I feel. So they are just forced to ban it when they are playing against the stronger Western teams, which is obviously a limitation in the draft when you have to do that.
But that's just a kind of result of regional differences. At one point, right? Just if you start playing one thing a lot more often, even if the other region knows it, if you haven't played against it as much, why not?
I mean, you can sort of compare it to Ember in that sense, because the Chinese teams have been much more. They play Ember much more in their games, and they understand the hero much better, itemization wise and playstyle wise. That's why you have that stat when we were discussing, like I think yesterday or the day before, where it was.
By the end of day 2 or the start of day 3, it was like 7-1 for Embers on Chinese teams, and then 1-8 for Embers.
Yeah, I mean, it could possibly be some of the things like that with the Naga, where the Western teams is better at using the Naga, and the Chinese teams are not so good at using the support Naga, not the carry Naga.
It is something you need to respect, though. In the past, a lot of the Eastern teams would look over something like Wisp, and it came back to really bite them on the butt.
Yeah,
So
I mean, back to the Wisp point as well, Dakota. It was like